On June 18th, 2015, I had a lapse of judgment and did something that will haunt me for the rest of my life. I committed a crime, and I was caught. While awaiting sentencing, I was overwhelmed with confusion and turmoil about what had happened. I thought again and again, how could I have done something like that? I felt that I was beyond redemption and that I deserved nothing from anybody. I isolated myself from everyone around me. I was in a pit of self-condemnation, blame, and guilt that I could not escape. I was sick with worry and lost sleep wondering what would happen to me in court. 2 weeks after the incident, I started going to Cornerstone Counseling Center. To be completely honest, the main reason I started attending counseling was because I knew it would look good to the judge. I chose Cornerstone for two other reasons. First, I was on disability and needed my counseling to be subsidized or else I couldn't afford it. Second, the only other subsidized place I could go wasn't Christian, and I liked the idea of having faith in the sessions. During my first session at Cornerstone Counseling, I was assigned to the counselor Rita. At this time, I would have called myself a Christian, but I would only go to church sporadically, saying I loved God and that I was sorry for things, but I would do nothing to change my life or live for Him throughout the week. I told Rita I didn't mind talking about God, but I really didn't have much intention to change my life for Him. At the beginning of our first session, I told Rita the crime I had committed, and outright asked her if she still wanted to keep me as a client, despite what I had done. She told me we would see how the first session went and decide from there. By the end, she looked directly at me and said, "You're not a bad person. You made a bad decision, but let's move on from that. I can see that you're meant to be here. I want to keep you as my client." This was a huge turning point for me. I had been beating myself up day in and day out, and those were exactly the words I needed to hear. I continued to work with Rita and made some progress, but it wasn't until October, when I had an encounter with God, that I was completely transformed. I had someone pray for me, and ever since that day, I've been completely different. I know that it does not always work like that for everyone, but it did for me. Everyone I knew started to comment about how something was different about me. My spiritual self had changed so dramatically that it became noticeable in my appearance. Because Cornerstone is faith-based, I was able to talk to Rita about my encounter with God and process things honestly. Rita was crucial in helping me find peace, forgiveness, grace, and acceptance in God for myself and my situation. Since that encounter with God, I feel alive and whole again. I have no idea if I'm going to jail or for how long I'll be there. And I used to be so upset about not being in control of these things. But I have found peace in the truth that God will always be by my side no matter what happens to me. What I did was wrong. There is no way I can deny that. But that's what grace and forgiveness is. It's in spite of the wrongs we have done. I know that no matter what happens, it's all going to work together for the glory of God. In the story of my life, God will use whatever circumstance I find myself in for His glory, and that brings me great peace.